What if the Crusader states survived? Would they manage to survive to this day, or would they end up the same as in our reality? This question will be answered in this video. But we have to start with the real history first. First crusade was called by Pope in year 1096, and it managed to successfully conquer the Holy Land and establish some of the Crusader states. But this crusade and several others that were next were plagued by several problems. There were problems in leadership, where the Khans could not agree on who would lead the crusades. All through this Jerusalem was successfully captured, but other crusades were not so successful. There were attempts to conquer Egypt, which would strengthen the Crusaders by a lot, etc. Jerusalem was lost in year 1244, and the last Crusader states, except Cyprus, fell in 1291. The Crusaders also had to face great opponents, like Saladin. But what if the Crusader states managed to survive? We will not make the Crusaders conquer the entire area that the Muslims controlled around the Mediterranean Sea, and not make a scenario where everything went perfect for the Crusaders. But if you would like to see this kind of a video, write in comments and give a like and subscribe. So, what are the changes? The Crusaders managed to have stable leadership. There would also be a bigger colonization from Europe into the Holy Land, making the population more European. The historical assassins also tried to assassinate Saladin, but they were unsuccessful. In this new reality, the assassins would successfully assassinate Saladin. Those all changes would make the Crusaders stronger, as you will see in a few minutes. The next thing that the Crusaders would have to face would be the Mongols. In our timeline, the Crusaders tried to ally the Mongols, but this was unsuccessful. There were some hostilities between the Mongols and the Crusaders, but they did not fought so much. But we have to look now on Egypt, where would the Mamluks took power. The interesting thing about Mamluks is that they managed to defeat the Mongols, and they would pose threat to the stronger Crusader states. The Mamluks were also Turks. The Mamluks fought the Crusaders in our reality, and they even destroyed them. I believe that the Mamluks would destroy the Crusaders, so we have to change something. The Mamluks would surely want to destroy the Crusader states and annex their territory, and the Crusaders would need to be really lucky to survive. But I think that the Crusader states could not survive the Mamluks. I have forgotten here about one state that is located in this area, and those are the Byzantines. In this timeline, they would win the battle at Manzikert. This means that Anatolia would be saved from the Turks, making the empire stronger, and the Turks would migrate into Iran. This change would also mean that the Ottomans would never exist, or they would exist somewhere in Iran. This would mean that when the Mamluks would get weaker, around the year 1500, the Byzantines and the Crusaders would wait no time to occupy Egypt, like the Ottomans did, and they would be successful. But I can't say who would own Egypt. The Crusaders would surely want to make Egypt another Crusader state, and the Byzantines would want to make Egypt, which would be in the Christian arms for first time, after almost 9 centuries, their province. This would probably end up in a compromise, like Byzantine Emperor's son would be king of New Crusader Egypt, which would be puppet to Byzantium. This new Egypt would be unstable, and there would be revolts in Egypt due to Crusaders, but the Coptic Christianity would be promoted, and Egypt would be successfully re-Christianized. In the alternate year 2024, Egypt is 80% Coptic Christian and 20% Muslim. Due to this, Spain and France would occupy North Africa much sooner, maybe even before 30 Years' War. This would make the entire North Africa much more Christian in this alternate year 2024, and Islam would be spread less. I also think that it might be interesting to see the Turks take power in Iran and see the Ottoman Iranians. In this timeline, the Byzantine power would rise a lot and slowly absorb the Crusaders, but they would still not lose their independence totally. The Byzantines would also begin to slowly colonize, together with Crusaders. It would be interesting to see the Byzantines expand into Egypt by the Nile, and the Crusaders would establish small duchies, maybe on the Caribbean islands, etc. This would be really interesting to see. There would also be wars between the Iranian Ottomans and Byzantines, together with the Crusader states, who would slowly unify into some kind of union or alliance. There would probably still be First World War, but I don't know if the Byzantines would even participate in this war and in possible Second World War. In Cold War, Byzantines would be against communism and pro-Western, maybe forming federation with other Crusader states who might get slightly independent. Today, the Crusader states would be part of the Roman Confederation, together with Egypt and the Byzantine Empire. In this federation, Emperor would be the leader, and under him would be the lesser kings, like kings of Jerusalem, Egypt and Cyprus, and dukes. All the countries would be monarchies, and they would be mainly Christian. This is all. If you like this video, you can give like, subscribe, and join my Discord server. Link is in description. I will see you at the next video. Salvete.